Hello guys, welcome back to agency. We're continuing the construction on the Polyam Bridge. I'm supposed to build a little bit more today, or do a bit more today, but unfortunately I got carried away on a weird gun game. Oh hell yeah, I think I'm watching the video. I think I'm about to watch Bernie Sanders rip into RFK, which, look, I'm gonna be honest on this channel, I'm not a big fan of politicians, but I reserve my dislike for them when it comes to Bernie Sanders. I mean, I'm surprised. The guy is old, and I know I'm gonna seem like a hypocrite here. The guy is old. Do not get me wrong. Old as hell. But I vibe with the dude. Oh, I actually I don't like that. I don't like that. I don't like that. I do not like that. Hello, viewer. I'm watching an RFK speech. He's like, he's like, do you know what rabies is? He's like, yes. And he's like, you get from infected skunks, infected animals, raccoons. And the way he said raccoons, that was evil, but I love it. Burnt him. We all know what he does to raccoons. What the f... Hold on. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not, I know, I was about to say I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. Because guess what? What I just learned, apparently, is that the CDC has lost half. The CDC has lost half. Half. H-A-L-F. 50%. 1 out of 2. Of every one of its rabies staff members. We cut rabies staff members. I will repeat this one more time. We cut the staffers for the CDC rabies division. You know, like rabies, like literally the most deadly disease on the planet with a almost 100% kill rate. Literally, the disease. You will have essentially a 99.99999 plus % chance of dying if not treatment. Only a handful of people have survived rabies without treatment. Even with our modern advanced medicine, we have yet to find a cure after it hits the brain. It is the most dangerous disease on Earth. And if that, it's at least the very top 3 dangerous diseases. And what do? We literally cut that line. Apparently to only a single rabies expert. Remember. So, any one of these idiots toting, quote, make America healthy again, can shove it. You want to make America healthy again by cutting the, you know, the division of the CDC that deals with the most dangerous disease on the planet? What's going to happen now? We're going to have the National Weather Service literally defund the Storm Prediction Center. Hey, man, we're going to fire half the people to Storm Prediction Center. Oh, and National Hurricane Center over in Miami? Let's get rid of at least 3/4 of that staff. Let's do that. Nothing will go wrong at all. This administration has no care for science. And remember, bringing back gold standard science, people. We're bringing back gold standard science. And by that, we mean defunding anything that supports, you know, climate change. You know, because that's so fake, you know. That's super duper fake. We don't have, you know, mountains of evidence, you know, that we've gathered over the span of literal centuries. You know, we don't have ice cores or anything like that. Nah. Climate change fake. Probably, again, that's a joke. Don't want to get flagged by YouTube because I'm not an idiot. And by the way, again, apparently this guy brought up, hey, you know, your CDC essentially cut, you know, rabies lines. And RFK responds, do you know how many people get rabies? Doesn't matter. Do you know? Oh, wow. Guess what, guys? Storm deaths are very low. Let's defund the National Weather Service. No, just because storm deaths are lower than they were 50 years ago doesn't mean we should defund the National Weather Service. Just like because rabies deaths in America is so low, we shouldn't defund the rabies division of the CDC. The reason they're so low in the first place is because of the funding, because of the investment, because of the scientists that we have hired to basically bust their ass to, you know, help treat these diseases. If we defund this shit, the problem comes back. If we got rid of National Weather Service today, I bet you storm deaths would double within 5 years. Probably 3. Who knows how many people that, you know, who knows how many people have been saved because of that hotline where people can actually call in and get help if they get rabies. Because when you get rabies, it's no joke. Like, you literally have to go to the hospital. It's not like, okay, I can wait, like, till after today. No, when you get bit, you get rabies, you have to go hospital immediately. Trust me, I know this because, although my sister has never gotten rabies, she works as a vet. And she tells me that when they deal with rabies, it is no laughing joke. It is extremely serious. Like, we're talking life-threatening. It is extremely time-critical to get a case of rabies solved and, you know, treated. Again, I've said this for the millionth time. If you don't get treated for rabies almost instantly, you will die. Like, once rabies gets up into your brain, you're dead. Like, there's no way to stop it. It will just essentially kill you. Once you start becoming hydrophobic, that's when it's over for you, man. This guy asks what prion diseases are. I don't know way too much about prions, but I do know that they're extremely notorious. Prions are like, well, if you have like types of diseases, you got bacteria, you got viruses, you got fungi, but prions are a little bit interesting. Prions don't do one thing, and it's called die. Prions, you can heat a surface up to like 200 to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, and the prions will still survive. Prions look like a corkscrew. If I'm not wrong, they can corkscrew into cells, meaning that they can basically infiltrate almost any cell. Prions are known to be extremely dangerous. I think they even target the brain. Let's look up what a prion is. Misfolded protein. I think they look like corkscrews. Yeah, this is what they look like. They look like little corkscrews. That's what a prion looks like. It's really weird. That little corkscrew looks a little bit nice and cute until you realize how devastating it can be to the human body. Misfolded proteins that cause fatal, rapidly progressive neurodegenerative diseases by inducing normal proteins in the brain to misfold. So it literally just corrupts your proteins. That's fun. We love corrupted proteins. And I remember, I forgot, but now I remember that prions are neurodegenerative. So your brain starts to literally fail under prions. Misfolded prions, or misfolded proteins, aggregate into amyloid plaques that cluster around neurons, causing inflammation, cell death, and damage. Spongiform appearance. The death of cells leaves behind microscopic holes, giving the brain a sponge-like texture, condition known as spongiform encephalopathy. I think I've actually heard of that. I don't think that's good. Let's see, how hard is it to kill a prion? Are exceptionally difficult to destroy, requiring extreme methods beyond standard sterilization because they are misfolded proteins found in living organisms. They withstand boiling, alcohol acid, and radiation. How much radiation does it take to kill one? How many grays? Jesus Christ! 50 grays? No, I'm wrong. Not 50 grays. 50,000 grays. For reference, I'm pretty sure it takes about 2 to 5 grays to kill a person. Let's see. It's about a half a gray to a gray. 4 gray causes radiation sickness and death. So if you get 4 grays of radiation absorbed to you, you have a 50-50 chance you're gonna bite the bullet. 50-50 chance that you're basically gonna go forever sleep. You know, again, essentially what, like 4 to 8 grays kills a person. Prions survive 50,000. I think I did a calculation where if you placed a prion into the opened core of Chernobyl, it would last roughly six and a half days. I mean, one most radioactive, like consistently radioactive, not just flash radioactive things, is was the reactor for Chernobyl. When it was exploded open, we're talking a literal protein that can survive more than 6 days, whereas a human would be killed within under a minute. I mean, the radiation from Chernobyl would kill a human, like from the core, to be particular, from the core. When the core is open, the radiation, if you stood right next to it, would kill you within about a minute. It takes 6 days for a prion to die. So radiation is out of the picture. Boiling is out of the picture. Standard sanitizer, if I'm not wrong, is also out of the picture. These things are insanely difficult to kill. They literally don't die. Alright, so what does this guy say about Brian? Mad cow disease. They just mentioned mad cow disease. Apparently, if I'm not wrong, I think they fed cows to cows. Now, it sounds weird what I'm about to say. If you actually apparently involve yourself in cannibalism, you can actually go mentally insane. And I think it's called Kuru, and if I'm not wrong, there is no treatment. It will, like, literally doing cannibalism will mess you up. So that's, and also it's morally bankrupt to do. So hey, don't do cannibalism. But apparently back in the day, Britain used to actually feed their cows to their cows. This caused them to go freaking insane. And to spread diseases stemming from what they called mad cow disease. Mad cow disease is interesting. I'm about to say, I have to ask myself, I love you, viewers. I'm about to ask myself, was chronic wasting disease a prion? I think it is. It is. Yeah, I'm pretty sure, 90% sure, chronic wasting disease was a prion. Fatal neurological illness caused by misfolded proteins called prions. Yep, I'm right. Chronic wasting disease, which you often see deer, they get really skinny. They almost look like zombies. They kind of act like zombies. And they just go, like, the deer go like this, and they're slowly, literally just slowly dying and suffering. Yeah, that's a prion. What was it? It caused dramatic weight loss, behavioral changes, and drooling with a long incubation period over a year before symptoms appeared. Transmitted via body fluids or environmental contamination, it is incurable and possesses a significant risk to wildlife. Man, I remember when that was starting to become, like, really, really well known. Wait, what? Come on. Yeah, does the 2027 budget eliminate the CDC's National Prion Office? Yes, the presidential fiscal year 2027 budget request the CDC released in April 2026 proposes to eliminate funding for the prion disease surveillance. Oh my god. We are literally going back to the Stone Ages. So not only do we see $15 billion with a B, billion dollars removed from green energy incentives, the complete cut, the severe cut of the rabies disease unit, and the elimination of the prion unit. Elimination of the prion unit. Of the fucking prion research unit. You know, one of the most notorious disease types on Earth that affects, apparently, from this senator's speech, the most affected are hunters. Let's see. Adults 55, 75. Hunters and recipients of specialized care. How many people in the U.S. are affected by prions? How many people? 350, 500. So low. But here's the thing. Those are valuable people. It doesn't matter if they're a low amount of people. Actually, you know why they're probably so low? It's probably because we have that, you know... It's probably because we have that thing, you know, in office. Let's see, studies, I just looked up, have prion deaths gone up? Gone down? No, they're actually going up. So this, apparently deaths, I mean, I'm looking at charts, deaths from prion diseases are actually going up. So would you think it's actually crucial to fund the, you know, part of the CDC that researches these prions and, you know, finds ways to cure and treat them? I think that would be important. Hey, look, there's a disease that's getting really, you know, the deaths are going up. I think it'd be a good idea to, you know, actually increase the funding. And, you know, okay, please don't cancel me for saying this. Save American lives. You know, American people, which these politicians are supposed to serve, but don't. Because that's what America is like for you. So let me get this straight. We have a type of disease that, even though it doesn't affect that many people, the deaths are still increasing, and we want to get rid of the center that researches and tries to counter said certain diseases. We are literally brain dead. We are going backwards. We are spiraling backwards. It is absolutely crazy to me how anybody thinks this is okay. How do people support a government that is actively putting the lives of its people in danger by threatening cuts to literal disease response units and research units? Because guess what, buddy? Newsflash. Do you know why deaths from diseases have been reduced in the past, you know what, 100 years? It's because we have the CDC. It's because we have the WHO. It's because we have spent literally centuries refining our medical practices and developing scientific, you know, methods to test and cure and treat diseases. I'm pretty sure in World War I, the highest killer was disease. Disease is not the largest killer. About 2/3. However, the 1918 influenza pandemic caused massive fatalities, sometimes exceeding combat deaths in specific armies. Damn. So correction, disease did not kill a majority of people in World War One. Scumbags. Well, what does the 2027 budget propose for the NWS? My gosh. Can I get a freaking summary? Give me a second, chat. How does 2027 budget affect NWS? Significant shifts in funding that would fundamentally alter the National Weather Service. Prioritize national security and marine dominance while eliminating programs labeled as the Great New Scam. Oh, shove it up your ass. Man, Great New Scam, also called the energy source that is cheaper, safer, environmentally more friendly, way better in every conceivable way, and more nationally secure. Propose a $1.6 billion decrease for NOAA, down to $4 billion. Oh my god, that is horrible. Elimination of climate and research programs, zero funding for climate. 1.6 canceling 1.6 billion dollars in grants for climate-related research because, of course, whatever they, no. Pivots towards maritime and naval support, lining a broader $1.5 trillion. My god. Impact on public safety infrastructure, reduced long-term forecasting with climate labs shuttered. The ability to predict long-term seasonal events like El Nino or drought could be compromised. Satellite and technology delays. My god. Potential disruptions to critical infrastructure such as weather balloon launches and other observational data collection essential to accurate forecasting. Forecasting accuracy concerns that reduced staffing and resource allocations may hinder the speed and precision of weather alerts for severe events like hurricanes, tornadoes, and floods. let's see. Research and technology. The proposal targets climate-related research, which observers argue is necessary for developing next-generation forecasting tools and adapting to increasingly severe weather patterns. So, studying climate change, studying climate, which can actually help us predict tornadoes. Yeah, we're cutting that shit. We don't need that. We don't need protection from tornadoes, even though America is literally the most tornado-active spot on Earth. No other spot on this planet generates as much tornadoes as we do. America, in terms of its weather, is a freak of nature. And we want to reduce funding for that shit. I think it's completely stupid. We don't have value for the American life anymore. I mean, remember, National Weather Service is already severely underfunded. And we're just going to keep hitting it. Because why not? I mean, we literally already saw this happen. When the cuts in the National Weather Service occurred and there were so many deaths. I'm not going to say... I'm going to be honest with you and say not every death was, attributed to the cuts. But I wouldn't be surprised if the amount of deaths could have been prevented if the cuts were not made. 100%. There could have been way less deaths if we didn't make those cuts. I've even heard that after the Kankakee supercell went through, Kankakee, when it went through, Pontiac, it went through, Wheaton, Indiana, I've heard that, FEMA fund allocations, which I have my criticisms of FEMA. I remember they denied Illinois when the Washington tornado occurred, and that was complete scumbaggery. But still, I just think that's really scummy. I feel like a bunch of these politicians don't realize how important climate research is, because we need to, even with our advanced technology, our prediction of tornadoes is about 15 minutes, which means when you get a warning, you got roughly 13-15 minutes before that tornado hits your house. That is good lead time, but still, we need it to go up, up, up. If we can warn people up to half an hour before a tornado hits their house, can you imagine how many people we would save? I know, controversial. The government actually helps its people. Or again, can we allocate $6 billion to replace our aging weather radars? Our weather radars are literally almost 4 decades old. They need to be replaced. Other countries are starting to apparently invest in phased array radar, which is significantly better than anything we've got. The only thing we are better at than other countries is dual polarization. Other than that, that's the only thing we're good at, is dual polarization, which is really good, by the way. Dual polarization is absolutely goated. It's something that I don't think a lot of other countries have. But if we keep this up, other countries are going to surpass America in meteorological technology. Which I don't think we should race each other for meteorological technology. We should work together, because competition creates, distraction. Cooperation creates safety. And again, other budget proposal cuts is, I think, a $15 billion cut to renewable energy, saying, oh, it's a Green New scam. By the way, what sounds like a scam to you? Coal, which at its lowest is about 7 cents per kilowatt hour. Wind, 3 cents. At most, 4 cents. Of onshore wind, 4 cents a kilowatt hour. Per terawatt hour of wind, it costs, at the most expensive, the literal most expensive, onshore. Now, I will say this. Offshore wind is more expensive than onshore. offshore is actually more expensive than coal. But onshore wind is way cheaper. So for onshore wind, we have not really got. We were trying, but we haven't really gotten the price of onshore wind down yet, or offshore wind down yet. Onshore is a different story. We got that shit in the bag, homies. Literally, we went from 55 in 1980. We went from 55 cents per kilowatt hour down to like 3 cents. In average in Illinois, we pay 15 cents. Or, controversial opinion, we can go nuclear, but that's scary because nuclear reactors go boom, and nuclear reactors produce nuclear waste. What sounds worse? Nuclear waste, which is stored in a contained facility in a spot you will never see, versus a coal facility that belches smoke that you breathe in right now. You see that breath I just breathed in? I just breathed in more than 150 years of fossil fuel emissions. I have never come face to face with nuclear waste in my life. But every day I breathe, every day I literally just breathe, just naturally respirate, which I have to do to survive. I'm breathing in. What's that? Oh. Every time I breathe in, I have to breathe all that shit in. I don't get a choice. Also, I find it funny how, like, the politicians that oppose wind energy is like, we need to make jobs in America, and they oppose wind energy, which literally renewable energy employs like what, 1 million Americans. You would actually be surprised how many people are employed due to renewable energy in America. It is absolutely insane. And also, not just that, those are permanent jobs. $560,000. Total clean employment exceeding 3. Let's see. In generation with total clean energy. That's 2024. Damn. Solar energy 280,000. Renewable generation 569,000. Oh my god! If you include energy efficiency in electric vehicles, 3.56 million. Dude, that's 1% of America. It doesn't sound like much, but that's a general industry. That's nuts. Those are jobs. Not just jobs, but most of them are permanent. What? You want to rip up a wind turbine and shove it in China and plug a giant cord from China to America? No, that's not going to happen. Energy, like, for example, like generation energy, even coal, nuclear, whatever, have it, you can't offshore it. Well, you can with wind, but it's going to be in America, not in any other foreign country. Clean energy jobs grew more than 3 times faster than the overall U.S. economy in 2024. $3.6 million. I'm wrong. I said 1 million. That's 3.6 million. As of late 2024, solar and wind accounts for 550,000 jobs. Solar alone employs over 250,000 people. That's freaking nuts. Clean energy jobs represent 82% of all new energy jobs, according to E2's Clean Jobs Report America report. Damn, even fossil fuels employs 8.5, but 40% of general energy or clean energy jobs are renewables. That's, I mean, 40% of an industry that's been around for like what, about 50 years versus an industry that's been around for 100. What, renewables have only been around for about like what, a third to half as long as oil has and fossil fuel industries have, and it's already almost half of that entire market. That is insane to me. Again, I wouldn't be surprised if we hit 60 or 80% within about, I want to guess about, maybe like 20 years. Who knows? Found in all 50 states. Fastest growth seen in solar installation and wind turbine maintenance. Yeah, wind turbine maintenance! So, again, all these stupid politicians that keep opposing wind energy. When you oppose wind energy, you don't oppose, whatever. You oppose, you literally oppose creating jobs. You oppose job security. Simple as that. This is called Crespi effect. And honestly, again, even though fossil fuels employs more people than renewables is significantly safer. I'd rather work for that than fossil fuels. I mean, literally, apparently, according to Statista, oil kills about 18.6 people per terawatt hour. Wind kills 0.04, and it's the most dangerous renewable energy sector. Solar kills about 0.03. The only reason I don't advocate way too much for nuclear, I mean, I think nuclear is really good, but it's really expensive. Nuclear is expensive as hell to